Grant Dania now.
It's Grant Dania.
The gold logie this year. Oh my God, it's Grant Dania.
And our mom, Shazzy Dania. She's really crazy.
It's all true.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Shazzy Denya.
Yep, it's all true.
Dudes and dudettes, good morning.
Morning,
Good
George.
morning, good afternoon, good evening. I need to really stop doing karaoke before we do these podcast records.
Whoa, listen to your
listen to
voice.
that hoarse voice of yours. What were you belting out?
I did Aha's Take On Me, you know, the really high notes. I'll be gone. And I can't do it right now. Can I do it? Yeah,
That's
so
high.
I was able to do it last night, but I've woken up this morning and I can't speak high. Anyway, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, Mum and Dad.
But you would have had a great time, mate. Don't apologise for having the time of your life.
That's right. You got to have a good. It was Friday night last night. You got to let it rip.
That's exactly right. Yeah, plenty of ripping going on.
How's your
but yeah,
dilfing?
you know.
How's your dilfing going?
Yeah. Really good.
Have
really
you seen
good.
her again?
Have you caught up with the girl at the gym who called you a dilf, even though you aren't a dad and don't have children?
That's right. Yeah, no, we work out next to each other. We jump on the treadmill together and we make eye contact. We make a very small conversation. But turns out she has a boyfriend, so it's a bit awkward.
Damn it.
What? She has a boyfriend and she said that to you?
She's got a boyfriend and she said that to me.
That's
which is
confusing.
very
Yeah.
confusing.
Oh.
And I'm just going to leave it at that and just
Okay.
go, you know what? We'll just be mates who walk on the treadmill together and you can think I'm a dilf and I can think you're a cheating lady.
Yeah, a cheating tread walking lady.
Well, we had a ripper Friday night last night. I did a really big boo-boo, George, and yeah, I feel like there's some sad music to be played here, but
What happened?
not really the
Doesn't
right
matter.
one. But,
Don't
well,
be-
you know,
You're
because
getting
you were
very
a part
picky
of
about
this.
these sound effects,
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
So enough of your criticism.
I am.
Enough of your judgment. I know you can do it better, but you're not. I'm
Okay.
pressing it. So in future, let the sound effect play and shut up.
So we have an event tonight, and I decided last night to put some tan on, right? Because
Okay, yep.
yeah, because it's been winter and I'm white, and I've got to show quite a bit of flesh in this dress. Well, not as much flesh as the first dress I tried on, but anyway, that's another podcast for another day. So I decided to put on some fake tan last night, and I haven't bought any for ages, and so the one that I normally use, which is a real gradual, very gentle one, it looked like it was a bit dried up. So I went into Grant's cupboard and he had some stuff which I think was left over from Dancing with the Stars.
No, it's older than that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's. I reckon.
Fabulous.
I reckon that's 10 years old.
Oh, so
I'm not
is it
even
like
joking.
out of date potentially?
Right.
Yeah.
So I've put that on last night after 2 glasses of wine.
2 glasses.
Yeah, 2 glasses of... I did have 2 glasses of wine, thanks. Everyone went to bed and I hopped in and I...
Glasses the size of a barrel.
Oh,
Then.
stop it. And I had a shower and I, got out and I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. It's Friday night, going to put on some tan. And anyway, put it on. Got Grant to put some on my back, which you actually did quite a good job, thank you.
My pleasure.
Failed to read that it was professional strength. Failed to read that you've got to wash it off after 3 hours.
Yeah. And when did you wash it off?
About half an hour before this podcast.
Oh, so you are literally right now just realising the colour that is now going to be on you for the next at least week or two.
She
Yeah,
looks
so
like she's been in some sort of nuclear explosion.
So it keeps developing after you have a shower. So I have scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and I've got 2 really nice white armpits from like deodorant residue. So this is a monumental boo-boo.
Look, if it makes you feel any better, over camera on the screen when I look right now, it looks just as normal as always, but I'm not too sure about being in person what that kind of vibe is.
That's because I've smeared the camera lens with some Vaseline, so she's blurry to you. But
Right. If
I'm now actually married to Donald Trump, so
Trumpy.
That's funny because that's what Sailor said to me this morning. she was like, why would you do that to yourself? And I'm like, just trying to joke. I said, oh, because I'm trying to copy to look like Donald Trump. And she's like, are you serious? Yeah. So you can tell
people.
Mum doesn't get out much.
Right, what are we doing today, mate?
Looks like there's a murder scene in the bed too.
Yeah,
Because
it
I've
ain't
slept
pretty.
in the, yeah.
You've done that to a lot of hotel rooms, though.
Oh, don't
What?
tell our secrets on here. I do have a long running problem with tan and having a couple of drinks and not washing it off in time. So it's not the first time.
But that's what I love so much about hotel rooms. Like you're on a holiday, you're on vacation, you go in and you know as soon as you put that swipey card thing into your door, you open it up, you know from this point onwards, it's vacation central. You can do what you want. You can throw the pillows where you want. You go in the spa.
Yep.
You can be a little bit messy. They're going to clean it up for you no matter
the
what
best.
because somebody else is going to come in after you.
Yeah, but I still clean up. It's
No,
such a
you
mum
don't.
thing. Oh, I do.
No,
I don't clean the sheets or clean the bathroom, but it's still
Well, I
tidy
hope not.
up.
That's, otherwise, I'd want half my money back if you're going that far. You're doing their job for them.
Oh, all right. Today, we've got a special guest who I'm going to ring. George, you have no idea.
No, I
Grant
don't.
Probably can't remember because I told him a little while back.
I never know what's happening on this show,
So-
and that's never gonna change. So just
So Grant,
hurry up.
Grant's given me his
Lyrical genius.
Grant's given me his headphones, and every so often I'm getting a vibration out of here. So
Come on, mate.
oh,
Let's do this.
we are talking today to Flavia.
The great Flavia, the mystical.
She is our clairvoyant, who we have seen every year for the past nearly 10 years.
Hi, Shezzy. How are you?
Hi, Flavia. So good. It's
Oh, geez, you sound lovely. Your voice sounds all vibrant.
oh, thank you.
Hello, Flavia. It is Grant here. I have a question for you. Did
Yes.
now you said hello, Shezzy, straight away? Is that because you're a clairvoyant and you knew that we were calling, or did you have our caller ID on your screen?
All of the above.
Oh, Flavia, it's so good to connect with you. We
I love your voice. You just made my day. Can I have you on speaker, like, for the day or something?
absolutely. It's better that you have my voice, not my face, right now because I've had a tanning incident. But
Oh, what?
yeah, but we won't go into that. Flavia,
That sounds funny.
we haven't really given you a very big intro, so we thought that we'd get you on the line before we spoke about our deep love for you.
So just explain what it is that you do in your own words.
What it is that I do, I just I connect with the unseen. Now, when I say that, we all do it.
Right.
So if you think as children we're perceptive, we're more intuitive, we're more in touch, we're more in touch with our right brain. As adults, well, actually from the minute we start going to school and we enter the system, what we're told is stop dreaming, get back down to earth, be logical, be practical. So we're swung from the right brain into the left brain. Now, man is both abstract as well as tangible. So what I mean by that is that our tangible self, that's our logic, our practical, our physicality, the material world around us. Our abstract self, that's the unseen, the intuitive, our emotion, what we can't see but what holds the greatest weight. It's the engine room to our lives. So, for instance, if I was to say to you, close your eyes and imagine a world without, let's say, intuition, without perception, without emotion, without love, without imagination, and then was to say to you, what can you see of the world now? You'd say, well, it's not there. It's non-existent.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So intuitively, we're tapping into the unseen, which actually creates the scene.
How? When did you first know that you could do this?
As a child, but it wasn't until I was in my teens that I met another lovely lady, an elderly lady, who, by the way, happened to be born on the same birthday as myself. And I watched her operate and I went, oh, this thing has a name. It's called psychic. Until then, I knew that I was moving in that direction or work in that direction, but didn't have a name for it.
Yeah, right.
So if you ask a young child who's still in their intuitive process, how do you know? They'll just say, I don't know, I just know. So I encourage parents of kids that are very psychic, intuitive, perceptive to allow that. And not to say, well, look, it's only your imagination or it doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
or stop telling fibs.
We're often discounted, aren't we, as children?
Yeah.
And you're right, the system strips that away from us, which is such a shame because we are spiritual beings, and we're all just made of energy, and you got to let that other energy in. So when you say the unseen, you mean dead people, yeah? You mean people on the other side? Is that what you mean?
Well, unseen energy, not just because as you say, we are energy. So we go from energy into a body, into energy without a body. So, for instance, if you were to break open the radio today to find Elvis inside because he's singing, you won't find him inside that radio. That radio or the TV screen's only an apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
So when we move out of our body, we're still singing, we're still Elvis, we're still whoever. We just don't have that apparatus. Now, so when I talk about the unseen, even thoughts and emotions have energy. We're constantly affecting the world around us through our thoughts, through our emotions. We're telepathic with each other, sometimes without even knowing. So I think that the busiest area is the unseen area.
I remember the first time that we came to see you was off a recommendation of a girlfriend, Rachel Cupid, and she was like, "You've got to see this person, this amazing woman. She's incredible." And so I came to see you with a whole heap of questions that I thought I needed answers for, and I remember you saying to me that I was going to have surgery that year on my face, and you asked me, and I was kind of like, no, definitely not having any surgery on my face. And you said, no, I can see you having surgery. You really need to check your surgeon. You need to do lots of research on your surgeon. And that was one thing that I kind of discounted. And it was probably 4 months later, and I had another sinus infection, and the doctor said, look, you're really going to have sinus surgery. And which I did, and you'd kind of predicted that. You also said to me, you said, have you had braces before? And I said, yeah, I have. And you said, yeah, because you're going to get them again. You're going to have dental work. And I remember thinking, oh, she's so wrong with this. Yeah. And ended up with braces that year because I fell pregnant and my teeth moved.
And not only that, the checking of the surgeon ended up being absolutely true. I don't know how to describe this, but
without getting into trouble.
Yeah, we had some issues.
Yeah, he's since been struck off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And more things like that. You predicted that. I remember, or you told me that I would have another baby. Well, you've said that for a number of years, and you kept saying, who's the real blonde baby? Who's the real blonde baby? And we'd only just had Scout. And you said, no, you're going to have another one. And I was like, there is no way we're having another one. Yeah, you will. And she'll have very piercing blue eyes. And I can hear people saying when they meet her, what beautiful eyes. And
that's what she gets everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
And you said to me, this is a year before even Sunday was even thought about. You said she'll have some health issues. I'm not sure, she's a bit out of alignment. So you might need to have that checked. And I've got all of that down on, recorded. Like
and,
you were.
and she's got hip dysplasia, obviously, as
Yeah.
everybody knows, and she's
Oh.
in a little cast while she gets that healed. So
Yeah.
I know this is not news to you that how amazing you are and you get everything right, but we just wanted the audience to kind of understand that, it's insane.
Yeah.
And things that have happened to our families, like you're going to go, oh, your mum's going to hurt her leg. Bang, the next week, hurts her leg, gets her knee knocked out by the dog.
Yeah.
Like it's just, the list is endless.
Yeah. And some of them, because I know that you always say to me, Flavia, I'm not sure what the time frame is. I'm not very good with timing. And like we'll have a run of things. So you said once you were like, you'll hear about a capsizing of a boat and then XYZ will happen. And I, thought, that's strange. Well, 6 years later, we hear on the news about a capsizing of a boat and then... Yeah, Grant's looking at me strangely.
Yeah.
Because you know how I always say, Flavia said this would happen.
Yeah, it's constant. We'll be just driving along, there'll be silence in the car, and then she'll hear the news story about the capsizing boat, and she'll just go, Flavia said this was happening!
Yeah.
And it scares the life out of me. I nearly crash behind the wheel.
It's so bizarre because I forget some things and then it comes back to me and, so... thank you for what you've done for us over the years. We we just come and see you every Christmas now, just to get a tune up or to,
And you're an absolute delightful couple. You really are. Even hearing your voice, Jezzy, there's something about your energy that brings upliftment to me.
Aw.
And I'm sure you've been told that by others.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, both of you
except
come
for
in
Grant.
and you make me
He doesn't-
smile.
She's
No,
you're right. You're right, Flavia. She's lovely. She's glowing. She's
You guys
today
are-
particularly glowing. Glowing orange in her fake tan that she left on overnight by accident
Whoa.
because she'd had 14 bottles of wine.
I
Fla-
had glasses
it
of-
must be lovely to help people out who are really searching for answers. Perhaps they've lost a loved one. They've got an unresolved feeling or emotion, or they didn't get to say that thing to that person, before they passed. These people who are really tormented and sitting in a position of, of pain. It must be such an incredible feeling to be able to help resolve that with that person.
Well, I'm really humbled to hear that because I'd like to correct that. I'm not God or this divine. I can be off the mark at times. So I'm human first. But as far as helping people, yes, it does. It brings me a lot of joy. But, I keep shifting also how I see the world and how I interpret things. And one of the things that I'm very, very strongly with is that we have co-created energies with the universe. So even long before I appear on the scene or I say anything, all our thoughts, all our emotions already start putting in motion what's going to be created for us. So I'm just interpreting those energies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I come in, and the beautiful thing is that nothing's set in stone. We can change our minds. In other words, as we lift our vibrations, we can bring in higher levels for ourselves as well.
Do you have a favourite kind of client or situation where people come in and they want something from you? Do you have a particular kind of clairvoyancy that you like doing more than others? Does that make sense?
Look, I think all through life we have favourite people and favourite clients and favourite, because our energies resonate with different people. Do I have maybe a favourite? One of my, because I've got many favourite moments, but a favourite moment, and this, I've never forgotten this. I had a woman in front of me, sweet, sweet lady, and she was quite sick and she wanted to know whether she was going to die. Now, all I kept getting is this super happy vibe. I just tuned in and I'm super, super happy. And I looked and I still wasn't getting the answer for her. And I looked and I said, look, you're either going to go on to have a very, very super happy life, or you're going to be a very, very super happy passed on person. But she was good with that.
Oh,
wow.
Now, not many people can come to that.
Yeah.
It was like And I don't know that I could come to that if I was sitting in her seat. But she could. And somehow that reflected back in the reading.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, did that lady have something to teach me or what?
That's actually
That'd be
quite
cool.
beautiful.
That'd be so comforting to know that you're going to be a happy, passed over person. I reckon you'd live.
Well, either very, very happy on this side or happy. And I have had a glimpse of the other side. So that, I must say, that does make sense to me. But just her attitude of like, yeah, I'll just take the happiness either way I take it.
You just said.
And I'm like,
you've just said you had
it's like whether,
Yeah.
you've had a glimpse of the other side. What's on the other side? What is it?
Well, I've had 2 white light experiences, and in both instances, I could feel myself leaving my body and connect with this brightest of white light. It's absolutely just, I can't even put a word to it, but what I can not even find the adjectives to describe was the peace and the love and the connection of like all things being perfect.
Wow.
You know, when we look at perfection, when we look at bliss in this life, it doesn't hold a candle to what I saw on the other side.
Wow.
So much so that I have no fear of passing. I have a vague looking forward to it. And that doesn't mean I'm going to do anything crazy, but it's almost like, whoa, there is bliss. And there is bliss in a way that I can't even begin to describe. Now, I can't say that I know a lot beyond that. There are other people that have gone on and passed on for a lot longer and have had different tales to tell. My suspicion, this is only my suspicion, so I could be wrong on this, but I've thought about it a fair bit. If, say, the situation was reversed and we're all passed and we wanted to have a little experiment that this place called Planet Earth existed, and we go, okay, there's 5 people, we're going to send them down, and they're all going to have different experiences, or we're just going to send them down, say. And one person will be sent, and they'll live in this thing called a palace. The other person will live in, a third world war-torn country. Another person will know supreme health. And anyway, so we vary the differences, and we go back and we go, so tell us your experience. Does this place called Planet Earth exist? You're going to have 5 different accounts, and the conclusion will be, no, it's a load of nonsense. You guys can't even make up your mind what Planet Earth is. You've had different experiences. So whilst that was my experience, and I suspect that's going to be, from everything I've read, the experience of most people, I wonder whether when we get on the other side, whether there are varying experiences again. And I'm not saying all dark or light or this, that and the other. So I'd hesitate to say more than what I've actually personally seen and witnessed myself. But that was my own personal side of it.
Were these near-death experiences? Like, are they?
No, that was spontaneous. No, absolute spontaneous experiences.
Right.
Where were you? Just like
And
aisle 4 at Coles, or?
No, but I just had 2 rather events that had shaken me or thrown me a little in my life at the time. And one was while I was going towards a park, believe it or not, walking towards a park.
Oh my God, I knew.
And it was so spontaneous. I'm like, whoa, to the point where I'm thinking, I kind of don't want to come back. And then the other one was I was just laying in bed of a night, had an interesting situation, and I'm like, whoa, this could be quite addictive.
Yeah. Do you get the impression that we're just in the waiting room? That the Earth is we're just in the waiting room for the bigger thing, which is what happens when we finish here on Earth?
Look, I don't have the answers to everything. I think we're here as evolving consciousness. I think we're here. Look, what answers I do have, I'll give you, but to say that I know it all, no. I feel that we, I think if you were to sort of ask if I was to go on an individual level, people will say to me, what's the meaning of life?
Yep.
And I think it's written on every gravestone, or just about. in loving memory.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can reach that, is that what we're all trying to reach? To be a loving memory. And don't forget, there are thousands and thousands of versions of ourselves out there because everybody we encounter has a different version of us. But if we can create or live up to those words, those 3 words, in loving memory, I think we've done a damn good job.
That's actually beautiful.
And then if we do it can you imagine on a global level if we could do that?
Yeah.
And
incredible.
is that the meaning of? And would that be the meaning of heaven on earth? And I'm not trying to be religious here. I'm just sort of using a term, say. And if you think of what we've gone through the last few years, imagine if our thought vibration was beyond fear and beyond doubt and beyond disease.
Flavia, it's George here, Grant and Shezzy's producer.
Hi, George.
It's nice to meet you. I've got a quick question about you being able to predict things. I'd like to get inside your head. What do you hear? What do you see? Is it a voice talking to you saying, hey, this is going to happen to this person? Or are you actually seeing this prediction act out in your mind? What's actually going on inside your head during these predictions?
Look, sometimes it's visual, sometimes it's audio, sometimes it's just a feeling. So if I bring together another example of another person, I was with because we used to do these stage shows, these clairvoyant stage shows, which were a lot of fun. And so we'd travel around Australia, and at this point I think might be Yamba by memory. And I had somebody come in, and their deceased loved one came in as well. And honestly, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This bugger on the other side was so cheeky. And anybody that knows me knows I've got a bit of a naughty sense of humour, but I don't tend to swear. So I can sort of laugh at the most bawdiest jokes, but my language is kind of sort of somewhat, I've trained myself to be above board because I never know who's in front of me. And so this fellow was coming in and he was saying things I would not say, I'd never repeat, absolutely tormenting me. And I'm just saying, I can't say that. I can't say that. I had the person in front of me in stitches laughing, saying, that's exactly what he... And I'm saying, do you know what he just said? And she's laughing. I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable I felt, the more he was hamming it up. I'm like, who is this person? So that was audio. I could see the cheekiness, but he was really... He knew he had me. And he was going to sort of really go for it. So that would be like an example of audio. But say if I take it to another situation, which wasn't actually anybody in front of me, but before the COVID narrative came to our screen, I was laying in bed night after night after night. This has gone on for weeks, I think. And I'm saying to Kev, there's an evil blanket falling on the planet. Kev, I can't. Kev's my husband, by the way. I can't breathe. Kev. I'm so scared. It's going right across it's all on the planet. This blanket of darkness.
Oh, I've got
goosebumps. And it was freaking me because I couldn't identify what it was. I knew it was global. I knew I couldn't breathe. I had dreams after that.
It was a respiratory, it was a respiratory condition, yeah.
But can I say, and I may be unpopular here, the words I kept saying is, there's an evil blanket falling. Now, I'm not going to take that back because that was my experience, and I could be wrong, but it just felt like darkness had fallen on the planet. Now, I can interpret that in millions of ways. The word evil can be interpreted, misinterpreted, interpreted differently, but I just knew I didn't feel good.
Are you picking up on anything on our friend George here? He's new to this. This is a new experience for him. He's only young. He's 21 years of age. He's at the start of a wonderful media career. He's been a wonderful third wheel on this podcast. Is there anything coming in at all from?
She might have to tune in.
Yeah, do you have to tune in? Is there a process we can help you with here?
Well, straight away, I'm getting the image of a horse, so he's galloping ahead, take it.
Whoa.
Unless, of course,
A
he's also
horse,
born
did
in
you
the year of
say?
the... Yeah. I was going to say, unless, of course, he's born in the year of the horse. But I'm just seeing a horse. I'm seeing it galloping
Any
ahead.
lips?
So, what?
He
He wrote a song
Yeah.
which is called Horse Lips, and it's gone very well. It's been
gone
very
viral.
successful for him. Has gone
Oh,
viral.
I'd love to hear it. Well, isn't it interesting? Because I see their horse now, and see, this is again expressing as I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
When I see the image of a horse, many things can go through my mind. Is he born in the year of the horse, or is he galloping ahead like a horse? You know, but the horse was the first thing I saw.
Could
so
be
he's
that
galloping
polo
ahead.
match.
Well,
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, I don't know if he's even born in the year of the horse, but that could be just another thing that I. But anyway, check that out.
I think his career is galloping. I think that's fair to say that things are really rocketing for
I
him.
can relate to that for sure. Yeah, the galloping and going forward like a horse.
And I'm getting a 4, so I don't know whether I'm picking up 4 days, 4 weeks, 4 months, or the 4th month. But I'm just getting a 4, as though that 4 is going to be very significant to him. He'll, like a horse, he'll have to hold up at one point. I don't know whether that's the right term. He'll be halting up at one point where he's not galloping as fast, but it gives him a chance to look around and see what's available. Now, I'm getting the number 7, so I don't know whether it's channel 7 or where the 7 comes in, but there's a 7 around him. Minor injury somewhere between possibly the lower part of the front torso to maybe the knee. So this is an indication that he needs to know when to slow it down. You know, sometimes we can get ahead of ourselves, and the body will speak to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you said lower abdomen to the knee area. So you're saying he's going to break his dick. Is that what you're saying? He's going to have a broken penis.
Well, I said that, not you. I mean, you said that, not me.
It's probably the most likely at this point in time.
Is it a graphic sex injury? Is that what? Is that?
She's trying to.
Do not divert me. We're getting a big
Sorry.
bill, and you can imagine the dick jokes coming in now. So we don't need more.
So I'll quieten down. Sorry, carry on.
Is it serious?
No.
Is it
No,
something I
no,
should
no.
be worried? Okay, no, it's just minor.
No, look, the body always speaks to us. We're mind, body, and spirit, right? So if there's a little bit of a hiccup around that area, look at the 4 pillars of health. And that is it diet? Is it movement? Is it rest or lack of rest? Or is it what you're thinking? They're your 4 pillars that you've always got to address when something happens with the body, those 4 pillars. So spiritually, sometimes we get pulled in because we need to just stop and have a look around. Now, but that's not the bad news. That's just like the little glitch, if you like, that you'll work through. But I do feel like, again, I'm coming back to this horse. You're so eager to get ahead, and it's beautiful, beautiful to see. But be kind to yourself in the process. You know, you're more than a career. You know, you're a human being with a great spiritual nature. Bring them in as you go along.
Bring the spirits in? Is that what you mean?
No, bring the people.
Bring your spirituality in.
Right.
Bring your spirituality in. And the month of October, I see the dollar signs there. So, seeing the dollar signs, I've now decided you're my new best friend.
This October or next October? What are we talking?
Well, I just got the month of October, and you're very right to say that because it didn't actually give me a year, but I know it's soon. So this October to next October is very soon when you think about it. You think how quickly 12 months goes.
Yeah.
12 months is like, oh, geez, that was only yesterday. Think about how fast the last 2 years have gone. It's like, whoa, that was only yesterday. So, but yes, I just get the month of October, and I get seeing dollars. Boy, oh boy, you're going to be challenged because there's somebody around you who's a bit of a loudmouth, but maybe slightly arrogant. who's to push your buttons and vice versa.
Don't talk about Shezzy like that. That's not very nice.
No, Shezzy's a Scorpio like me. I'll always pick up the Scorpios.
Good on you, Flavia.
So this could be a work situation.
He might not
potentially.
even met this person yet.
Oh yeah.
No, he may not have met, but it's like, sometimes people press our buttons. And,
there's a few people like that for sure.
Yeah, and think about it. They say that 10% of people, statistically, 10% of people don't like any of us. Mm-hmm. So I always think if somebody doesn't like me, I go, yeah, well, you're in that 10% category. I won't worry. It's a good way to get through life. But no, that being said, so you are going to be encountering this person who will tend to, a bit of arrogance, bit of, and everybody, even the people we don't like, reflect something in us. So that's a good way of looking at it too. But I feel like, go ahead, horse, you're doing the right thing.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I really resonate with the being eager to move forward and not right now necessarily appreciating the things currently happening around you and the people you've got. So that was really good to hear.
What about love? Yeah. Is there any fillies? Or what's a horse?
Any fillies? Well, for a start, I was going to say something, and this is applicable to all of us, but for some reason I'm feeling the need to say it here. Don't forget, we're just primates. And primates are very touchy, cuddly, huggy, feely by nature. So what I'm saying is don't be afraid to express physical affection to people. It's very healing. Now, as far as love life, geez, a few are coming in and a few being thrown overboard and a few more and then a few more being thrown overboard. Okay, let's just see here. I feel go with your gut and go very calmly because I feel like, the fillies are coming in, but they're coming and going. You may be attracting the fillies that aren't quite the right match right now. So if you go more at a calm pace with your gut, you'll be able to go more to the correct type of filly for you.
Yeah, sure.
And you do need somebody who's very, who's got a good sense of humour, who laughs. I mean, don't we all? Who's got like a philosophical edge, but an ability not to take everything so seriously. And that's how you both would bounce off each other nicely.
Yeah,
now,
that sounds really good to me. I need that. That'd be fun.
You have a thing for fillies with long hair?
Yeah, I do.
Because I'm looking at the long-haired variety.
Are we still talking about women or? I'm confused.
Yes, girls.
I'm talking about girls. I'm playing. No, long girl with long hair. But I feel like you're simply drawn. Is it the dark long hair that you're drawn to? Because I'm just seeing it.
It is. I quite like that for sure.
Okay, because I'm seeing the dark, long dark hair, and the sparkling bright eyes. You'll meet someone that really connects with you through somebody else, either at a party or at a gathering or through another person. And there's an element of shyness to begin with. I don't know whether she's quite shy or you are, but I'm getting this initial shyness where one of you is not fully seeing what the other person's like initially, but there'll be that spark of attraction. There's two somewhat disappointments before you get to this, and I'm not saying with the same girl. There's two situations that you're not going to be overly happy with before you get to this other situation.
Okay, so there's a couple of trial and errors on the way.
Yeah, I just feel like, you gallop ahead horse nature, maybe actually slowing you down in the girl department.
Yeah, see, that's my concern, that he's very work-focused. He's very determined to build a career, and I think he's quite headstrong in where he wants to go and what he wants to do.
Sounds familiar.
And I'm wondering whether maybe he's not allowing these nice things to happen to him along his journey. Like, he's not making room, for a lovely someone.
Yeah, and then when you're approaching the lovely someone, don't gallop through. Like, just be very discerning in your gut. Unfortunately, we now live in this era.
Take its time.
Yeah, we're living in this era where, and God, thank God I'm not in the dating world now, but it's like you swipe this way and you swipe that way, and I'm thinking, how the hell do you ever get to know anybody? Swiping to the left, swiping to the right, I don't know.
Oh, she can see you, George. She can see what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm a swiping fiend.
You're not really getting a chance. You're not really giving yourself the best chance possible, because at the end of the day, whether you swipe to the left, the right, or the centre, what really counts is happiness, contentment, and that person by your side.
Just one last question from me, Flavia. I've moved away from my family, and I love my family very, very much, and it's tough to to be away. But as you know, I'm career focused, and I'm doing what I need to do to get to where I ultimately want to be. But do you think inside the next year or two or year and a half, I'll be closer to home? I'll be able to see my family a bit more often?
Yes, you will. You will, and you're going to be much happier at that point. And I'm getting the initial T. Is there a town nearby, or do you come from a town with the initial T, or are you near a town? Would it be Townsville, or is there a T
Townsville
around
at the moment? Townsville.
Townsville. Okay, because I'm just getting the initial T in town. I was trying to think of the name. Yeah, Townsville was. And again, I'm getting fast-moving stuff there. So I'm just getting this initial T, which is Townsville. And it seems like at that point you're quite happy and light in your step. You're just feeling happy. You feel like so much is coming together. Seems like that special someone is by your side. And you will you're going to be well on the road to your 2 babies.
Whoa,
2 babies.
2 babies.
Yes.
So I will be a DILF one day.
You are going to be a DILF, my friend.
Oh, this is the best day ever.
Official DILF. Wow. 2 babies. What else are you seeing?
Well, no. You're not heading up there with 2 babies, but you'll be on that road. Whatever's happening in your life at that time, yeah, well on that road where one thing leads to another and another, and before you know it, you've got the 2 babies.
This is absolutely wild. Oh, my gosh. What?
Can you imagine yourself as a dad?
Not right now, no. But that's just such a spin out, hearing all this.
I know. You're going to be happy. You're going to be ahead in your career. You're going to have lots of money.
You got love your life, a couple of kids on the way.
Hearing this right now, like I am happy right now, but I could possibly be happier is like, holy smokes, this is awesome.
Yes, that is so good. That is so good. So keep your vibration up, because this is where you're going. Keep your vibration up.
So when you say vibration, you mean like think positive things, manifest, talk kindly to yourself, all those kind of things?
Yep, exactly. When we're on the way up, don't look, what's that, how they say, don't look down? Mm-hmm. When you're on the way up, just don't look down. You know what you want, you know where you're going, and listen to your body. Listen to your body. So if there's something that gets out of kilter, our bodies are talking to us non-stop. Yep.
Is there any way, before I let you move on to the wonderful Grant and Shezzy, is there any way you can stop this injury happening to me from the sort of waist down to my knees? Because I don't particularly want to have a broken dick.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I just feel like it could be a simple thing. It could be like you go to pull something off a wall and you have a bit of a twist. It could be a minor thing. But this is what I'm saying. When we listen to our body, we tend not to do things that put us in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The listen to your body thing is an interesting one because, often do you believe that physical injuries that we have or conditions, it's called disease, right? Dis-ease.
Yeah.
So when something is happening in your life that is bad, it can reflect as a physical condition, and then we should be aware of that, because if you can fix that, whatever that negative thing that is happening in your life, it'll often repair itself. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, both personally and globally.
Right.
Yep. So when our vibrations are up, we tend to, and we're in tune with our bodies, and we're in tune with everything we put into our minds and into our mouth and our movement and our rest. When we're in tune, we tend to move lightly, with our health.
Mm.
When we're a little out of tune, we get into dis-ease.
Mm.
And you've got to question the last few years why the world got into dis-ease. And everything needs to be, so as each of us brings our vibration up, not only do we bring our own personal vibration up, we bring up the vibration of the planet.
So good, Flavia. I know that we only have you for a really short period because you've got other people to see. So if we move on to Grant now.
Well, just if there's anything picking up on the rest of us, just now's your time.
Okay, Grant, I'm seeing you count money. So it seems like you're looking at where you're going monetary-wise.
Coming in or going out?
Negotiating. Negotiating what you want and where you're going to go. Hold on a second, sorry.
Oh, God, you've killed her.
Oh, no, she's dead. Oh, that's funny. I'm actually in the middle of a negotiation right now as we speak. In fact, one came in on Friday and one came in this morning. So
hold on. Yep. Let's hear some
now,
more. Is it a good negotiation?
Yeah. Does it pan out?
Yep. Well, I see you negotiating. Now, you're going to be called for reflection this year. So there's going to be moments where you're thinking, wow, I'm really having to reflect here. And it's not a bad thing. It brings you back into looking through the window of your spirituality. Like, what am I seeing in the world? And I know I'm giving you probably a different answer to what you might have been looking at, but I feel like you're going to be sitting in judgment. Now, that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know whether you're going to be asked to judge on some kind of panel but it's both. I think it may end up being physical and metaphysical. So there might be something that you're being called to do as a judge or in judgment of, but also metaphysically it translates as well as how you're going to be seeing the world, sitting in judgment, like really discerning and deciding what's what. There's a moment there where the universe will slow you down, not because of anything negative necessarily, but again because it's a time of reflection coming up. They're telling me you will be looked after, and that's the main thing you've got to know, because you know that when you're being looked after, so is Shezzy and the kids. Now, with you, I'm getting November. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about, and George had a good point there, which one, because when time moves, you look back and things seem to happen very quickly when we look back on our lives. Now, whether it says this November or next November, but they're telling me or showing me November as being quite important for you, I feel, around the career side of it.
It's interesting. I'm going to LA to have... no, okay, I'm not allowed to say that?
No.
Okay, righto.
Let her finish.
Okay.
She might have said you're going to LA. And now you've just...
Anyway, it's okay. There's lots to be said. So,
sorry.
I can find other stuff here. But, yeah, that feels like it's important to me. But just to know that you are really going to be looked after. And I feel like you'll get to the other side of things that have happened in your life and in your career, and you'll realise that attitude was what it was all about anyway. It's how you look at the world and how you see the world. like it's going to take, it's almost like the wheel's going to turn. You're going to go, it's how I had seen things or how I'd chosen to see things. Now, a few months after the November, and I'm a little bit lost in time here, there is that feeling of having achieved, or that feeling of, yes, I did it, I got it, I made it. But I don't know why, Grant, in the moment, well, I'm reading to you, I feel like I've got one foot on the brake and one on the accelerator. So you might feel at times in your life coming up that you're travelling through life almost with one foot on the brake and one on the accelerator.
You're the second person that said that to me. Yeah. I'm just doing some alternative sort of health stuff to try and keep my mind and my body healthy, and they explained it the exact same way, that's what I'm doing, which is basically also
Isn't that counterintuitive to be?
Well, it's basically you're running on adrenals, I think, is one of the explanations of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the other explanation is that you're powering to go ahead, but you're also feeling quite cautious.
Yep, I relate to that.
Yes, I want that, but I want that to happen, but well, that'd be a good idea, but maybe. So it's that yes, no. So it's going to be a year of a lot of growth for you. But everything that happens is meant to be happening. And I don't feel bad about it. I feel like everything that's happening is meant to be happening. You're going to come out of this going, and you're going to, I don't know how Shezzy's going to feel about this, but you're almost going to say to Shezzy, oh my God, Shezzy, it's like I was a child for so long and now I'm an adult.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
Thank God.
Does that mean I have to make my bed now?
Finally, we've reached this point.
Well, I honestly don't know what that means, and I don't want to interpret it, but it's like that's almost like what you're going to be sort of saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those words are similar.
You heal your inner child.
But you're really powering ahead. You really are powering ahead.
It's been pretty quiet on the work front, so it's nice. It's
George is
nice
clearly
to hear that.
George is clearly going to give us a loan in October, and then we're counting you.
The
in
negotiations
November.
are with me.
No, but hold on. I'm the new best friend, remember?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yes, they're talking about career, but there's multiple factors happening for you this year, and it's not just going to be career. It's career plus. And honestly, you get that moment where you feel like you've got that pot of gold, and they're saying, do not let your ego get in the way. And we all know what that feels like at one point or another.
Yep.
Where you're ready to take it, and something happens in your ego, and it doesn't pan out because your ego got in the way. So, in other words, everything's a moving picture. It's great. You've got this moment. You've got this moment of glory. Remember that life keeps moving on.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying by not letting the ego get in the way. It's like, yep, this is great in this moment, and tomorrow could bring a different moment.
I've been guilty of doing that in the past. Yeah, that's hopefully a lesson that I have learned and I'll continue to practice moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean by ego. But on the back of that, as you're having to reflect, Shezzy's career is coming up.
Ooh, I'm taking off.
And you're going to be thinking, oh, hold on, now we've got to change gears again. Because Shezzy is going to be needing some help with her stuff.
Oh, I wonder what
But
what is my stuff, Flavia?
I don't know, but I just feel like it's out of left field but not unexpected. So what I'm meaning by that is like there's something coming up. It is out of left field, but when you look at it, you're going, you know what, I thought a while back that I might do this. I just kind of wasn't really particularly running after it right now, but there it is.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, nude modelling on OnlyFans, that's for sure.
Oh, geez.
A tanning business.
Tanning business.
Well, just hold on. Nude modelling and OnlyFans, do they take 60-year-olds? I'm just like, hey, hold on. We're going to start talking cash here.
I think her new business will be called Only Tans.
Oh, only.
Yes.
I thought you said OnlyFans. Did you say OnlyFans?
Yeah, they said OnlyFans, but they're mocking me because I did a terrible job with the tan last night. I know.
Right, gotcha.
But I don't know.
I'm
She's got pretty
stuck in-
feet. Maybe she can just sell pictures of her feet to like weirdos out there who are into that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Stop! You're ruining my reading
Sorry,
by Flavia.
Continue.
You're putting me on OnlyFans.
I'm still stuck on 60-year-olds with OnlyFans because I could do a bit of go with the big dick coming up on the balcony. Oh, dear, you should see the size of this thing. Anyway, back to you. But no, I think something that you might have had on the back burner, Shezzy, is going to come more to the forefront. And I get the word the quiet achiever. So this suggests me there's a lot of sitting down, paperwork, nutting it out, planning to bring the show to the road, so to speak, put the show on the road.
The Shezzy show.
The Chevy show, yes.
The Shezzy
The
show.
Chevy show.
That'd be loose.
But then I flicked back then, sorry, I'm going backwards and forwards here now, to Grant and November. And I'm thinking, wonder how these two all tie in together. So coming back to you, Grant, it's a combo of career success, reflection, and sometimes feeling like, okay, now what? So it's almost like that, foot on the brake and one on the accelerator, like, okay, we've done that, now what?
Mm-hmm.
Or this has just happened, now what? And I guess the best way to explain that foot on the brake and one on the accelerator moment is that you might have a few now what moments, like, and now what? But look, I feel like there is this moment of glory, and no one can take that from you.
Wow,
Does that feel
nice.
good?
Yeah, that feels real good.
Yeah.
Do you only like delivering good news? Like, what do you have to deliver bad news in your job as well?
Okay, so now you're asking me a general question?
Yeah,
Because I wanted to ask. She's got to go in a minute.
sorry,
you keep
sorry, I'm interrupting.
They're bloody popping up in my reading all over the place.
Well, it sounded like I thought she'd.
No, I wanted to ask Flavia, my health.
Yeah.
Will I have good health?
Look, you're revving your health up to the next level. Whatever you're doing, you're starting to rev up. And as I'm speaking to you, I've got a particular retreat place in mind that keeps popping into my head. So I don't know whether I should say it here or tell you personally later, but somewhere that I think would do both of you the world of good. It just keeps jumping into my mind.
It's funny we're kicking that idea around as we speak. You're onto it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, in that case, maybe it's a sign for me to say it here. Because it just keeps popping into my mind. I'm thinking, why am I thinking of this place? Why am I thinking? I want you to look up a place called Misty Mountains.
Okay.
You say Misty Mountains?
Misty Mountain or Misty Mountains. It's
that's funny because that's
inland.
That's Shezzy's profile name on OnlyFans.
Oh, I knew you were going to say something like that. Misty Mountains.
Let me have a look.
Oh God! Now it's Bellbrook or Bell. I think it's in Bellbrook. Now I haven't been there personally. I've heard only good things about it. Only good things.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny that as I was speaking to you guys, it kept jumping into my head. I'm going, why am I thinking about Misty Mountains, right? And it keeps jumping back in. So I'd say have a bit of a look at that place, or at least speak to the owners of the place.
What's that, near Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour?
Yeah, further up. Yeah, up that way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
to me,
Sorry.
Yeah, to me it indicates that you guys are looking for a retreat.
Yeah.
Or somewhere that you can just come away with a lot of good health messages. Because whatever you're doing, Shezzy, I think you're going to take your health to the next level.
I don't know what that means, but I like the sound of it.
What it means to the next level is like, it's like this trying to say that you've had some burnout or some, where you've just been bummed out a bit, and it's caused you to think, well, what do I have to do to get to the next level? Burnout can sometimes be very mild, where it's just a slow, mild hum in the background.
Yeah.
Where you know you're not running on all cylinders, but you still keep yourself going or feel like you're forced to go. So I feel like, yep. And the other part about health is that we never stop learning about what makes us healthier. We invest in money. We teach our kids to put money in their money box. We invest in money. We invest in the materiality of life, but sometimes not into our health and the spirituality of life, which then creates the materiality of life.
Mm.
So I think that might be an indication for you. So whether it's like you're meant to get there or meant to speak to the owners of the place, but it keeps jumping into my mind. But so you will be invested in your health, but don't forget your health is going to be up, but so is this career element. So you're going to be sort of saying, I've got to have enough juice in my tank to deliver the best I can in terms of my career and in terms of the world. And then on top of that, you're a mum, you're a wife, you're a human being. There's a lot that gets expected of you that you give without sort of jumping up and down and making a show of. Because you're a pretty strong person. It's like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll take care of that. Yep. And sometimes you're doing it unconsciously.
Mm.
But it's quite good. It's quite good because you are headed in the right direction.
Any feeling on what sort of area that the career could be in?
She said left field.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I get left field, but not surprising. So it could be like you think, wow, this has just come out of nowhere. And then you might also be thinking, well, yeah, I have thought of doing something like this in the past.
I'm going to be a doctor.
It's like
I know. I'm going to be a doctor.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
She loves playing with medicine.
Would you ever?
Yep. So.
No, well, I'm also on a spiritual bit of a...
I think you are, yeah.
Yes, and the spiritual is spectacular. I think I might have told you about the book, The Wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn, by Florence Scovel Shinn. Honestly, that should be by your bedside.
Okay.
And every time you want to materialise something, it's a very old-fashioned read, and in that way it's very quaint and very charming. But I've never known her affirmations not to come in for us because they're very undetached. They're very detached, rather.
What's the name of the book again?
The Wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn, FLORENCE SKOVEL SHINN. So it's The Wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn by Florence Scovel Shinn. And her affirmations just are unbelievably, they're just great. I'll give you an example. As a single parent years ago, I had the same challenges as a lot of single parents, making ends meet at times. And when bills used to come flooding in, for instance, and I'd go, oh, my gosh, what am I going to do? There'd be like a little affirmation there, which is, in the mind of the divine, there is no debt. Therefore, I owe no man anything. Therefore, my obligations are now being met under grace. You'd be surprised how quickly the money or whatever would just clear up, or the situation would clear up, and whatever I was panicking about would just unmaterialise. There was another one where I was, the house was robbed one year, and I knew it was going to be robbed. I just went out on the day. I was told it'd be robbed after I'd come back while I was at dancing. So I deliberately, without telling anybody, changed my dancing day, only to come home and find out that it was robbed after I'd come back from dancing or while I was dancing. And I changed the day specifically to avoid that. So I forgot to be insured, and I did this this affirmation from the book: in the mind of the divine, there is no loss. Therefore, that which is mine will be returned, or the equal restored. I got onto the insurance company. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not insured by you right now. I'm not even in your grace period. And you know what? With the girl on the other end says, look, I'll just speak to my supervisor. Within minutes, the insurance company turns around and says, okay, yep, we'll cover all that.
What? Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Oh, what? Yep. We've had, we've had incidences upon incidences. I'll give you a little tiny one, and this is where I do my own affirmation. And this is why I'm saying we co-create with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest daughter, who's now 38, it was her first wedding anniversary. And she contacted me and she's like, Mum, I want to give Scott, that's her husband, that photo album for our first anniversary, and I don't have it. You have it. She says, can you get it to me? Now, we were in a rush to get home. Now, I don't know whether this is all Virgos, but it's certainly my Virgo husband is like, no, we can't be late to get to this other place. We haven't got the time. We're not going to be able to do it. This isn't going to work out. And I said, she really wants this photo album. No. And, because I guess maybe a lot of Virgos like to be on time or to their commitments. And I'm like, okay, there's no swaying him.
Guilty.
Yeah. Guilty as charged, right? So, not a very good willow tree that just goes with the wind. They can be very straight to the point.
Yep.
Anyway, so we hop in the car to get to where we were going. I popped that photo album on my lap and I did a little affirmation of my own words that she would get that photo album because obviously first anniversary, I wanted to see her happy, wanted to see a dial on my son-in-law's face, and I also wanted to get to the other place on time. So how to keep everybody happy. And my husband looked at this photo album on my lap and he goes, we haven't got time to stop. And I said, leave it with me. So he's probably at this point he's rolling his eyes and thinking, God, what have I married? Well, yes, and this happens often when you're married to a psychic. So car petrol's running low, pull into a random service station in Sydney, very, very random. And who's the car in front of us? My daughter and her husband.
Yes.
And I grabbed the photo, ran over to her, gave her the biggest hug, and gave him, my husband, the cheekiest look, as if I told you so.
Wow.
And we all went.
That's great.
I love that.
That is so good.
God.
Wow.
That is
And
so
can I
good.
just add one? Can I add just one more? Because this is where the gold is. For me, the gold isn't so much my prediction of where life is happening, but how we can learn to co-create and manifest in the universe. Because both are true, but we're not living, breathing statues. We do co-create. All a psychic does is tell you what you're co-creating.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'll give you one more if I can, because I want everybody to just know we're just these miraculous living, breathing beings. And sometimes we forget. We did our astrology on the best date for us to be married. It's just been 10 years now. And it came up the 25th of August. Now, we picked our venue. We walk in, we want the 25th of August, and we knew the second date, that if we couldn't get the 25th, but others, Scorpios, we can be a little bit hard-headed. We walked in and we picked the venue, the whole thing, except we didn't have the 25th of August. We had to settle for our second better day. But being Scorpio, being that little bit determined, I wasn't quite ready to let it rest. But I wasn't going to hurt anybody either, because that really brings in bad karma. You don't want to take advantage of anybody as you do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my husband, my now husband is my fiancé at the time, obviously, watch this. We're going to get married on the 25th of August in that reception place. And he goes, nah. And I said, leave it with me. And he goes, what are you up to? I hit the affirmation and I get this, a few weeks had passed. A few weeks had passed and I get this phone call from the reception place. And it went something like this. Sorry, Flavia, Ursino, we don't normally do this. This is an unusual call. I thought, I know where this is going. And I said, yes. And they said, we have a couple booked in for a wedding reception, but they're wondering if you wouldn't mind swapping with them. And which, as you know, that wedding receptions don't do this. And I said, so which day did they want to swap? And they said the 25th of August. We should be all right with that. And I said, well, look, because I'm such a nice, spiritual, kind, understanding person.
I'll do you a favour and say yes.
That's incredible.
I'm happy to make this other couple happy.
That is incredible.
I get off the phone, find Kev in the kitchen. Guess what, darling? We're getting married on the 25th of August.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
to
the
have
power
that
of manifestation.
Beautiful.
It is. And you have to really believe it as well when you do it.
You don't, because once you get it happening a few times, you start to believe it. But the thing is, always do it in a way that hurts no one. I would never have done that if when we do something, because we want something, but it's at the expense of somebody else, human or non-human, we will pay the price.
That's interesting.
So never at the expense of another living being, human or non-human. And then our vibration goes to that level.
That's great.
So,
Flavia,
and so we co-create all the time.
we run out of time now, but can we get you back in another few episodes, and we'll just check in with you. And before you go, how can people find you if they want to book in for a reading and
Look, I'm a simple soul. I'll give my phone number. That's the old-fashioned way of doing it, right? I mean, my webpage, I think, is Flavia's Lifewise.
Well, maybe
we'll leave it with your. We'll just use your webpage, maybe, because we don't want to give your personal details out.
Yeah.
Well, because I was trying to think in bed last night, was it flaviaslifewise.com or ... this, that and the other? But if you just look up Flavia's Lifewise, you'll find me.
And it's Flavia, Flavia.
I'm going to look it up now while you're on the line.
Yep. And it's Lifewise, LIFEWISE.
Sorry.
And that way they can either... And my phone number's on that. I prefer a phone call or a text because sometimes, honestly, I wonder about emails and whether I even get them. But just look up that page, and I'm really happy just to, as I make others happy and we make others happy, we make ourselves happy.
All right, we've got here Flavia. Oh, where'd that go? Flavia'sLifewise.wordpress.com.
Ah, you bring it.
Yeah. See, and then people can book in and have an appointment with you. Yeah.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Flavia.
Thank you.
We look forward to sending you the X-rays of George's broken penis when it happens.
Oh, no. Honestly, we've got a dick that's 5 metres off the ground, getting bigger by the minute. So it's
nothing competes with that. Well, good luck with the rest of your deck building.
Yeah.
And we'll chat to you some other time, Flavia. Thank you so much for sharing.
Flavia. Sorry to hold you for so long.
Okay.
All right. Bye. We love you.
you.
Bye.
Love-
Oh, well, sorry, Flavia.
Savage hang up there.
No,
Shez.
because I know that we've run over time, and I know that she's got appointments all day today. So yeah, she did us a favour by coming on.
You wait, mate. What was yours is October, isn't it? Your thing's happening, mate.
Yeah, so potentially this month or next October, I will be filthy rich. Maybe it's Powerball.
Oh, when does it come back? No, you don't want to win Powerball
Soon.
You don't want to win Powerball?
No, because you want to work and earn it, and you don't want to just be handed it.
I reckon, how the whole judgment thing was coming up, Grant? I reckon maybe you could be like a judge on, Dancing with the Stars, or you might be a network head of content for a big station. Judging people.
Head of content.
Saying your shit, go away.
That's funny you say that. I've in the back of my mind in the last, for some reason, I thought, what if someone reaches out and wants me to become an executive? That's
You joking?
Be a tremendous
I've
leader.
had that thought in the
Have
last
you?
couple of weeks. Yeah.
What if someone reaches out and wants you to be an executive?
Yeah, to do exactly what George is saying.
Really?
I was thinking that during her chat, for sure.
That's so weird.
Who's a head of content? What is a head of content?
Well, so head of content, someone who who commissions shows for a network or a streaming platform.
Oh, I see. Oh, you would be good at that.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, eye.
So you basically find the ideas, and you get them developed and funded and made and put to wear. Yeah, that is. I wonder if we've all just joined the dots.
Well, what are my dots?
Watching
Because you
space.
kept I was
trying to help. I said, look, what kind of career are you?
Every
does it look
time
like?
I've ever had a reading, with Flavia in the last couple of years, no, it's not.
This is bullshit.
It's so funny because she always goes, "Oh, Grant's coming in very strong again in your reading."
Oh yes, actually, that does happen.
And she says, "I can't tell if this is for you or for Grant."
So now we do them separately for that reason.
Because Grant Grant's energy suffocates me.
Oh, wow. Far out.
No, it was actually because I throw all my energy into Grant.
Possibly that, or whoever's pulling the strings on the other side for me might be just louder than your person.
Well, obviously, I am about to take off in a left field industry.
Left field. But it was something that you've thought of that you're going to give it a go. It's something you've thought, hey, I might give that a go, and now it's going to come to fruition.
Is that the two black cockatoos?
No, they weren't cockatoos. No.
I am going to... I've signed up to a medium school, but I've done nothing about it.
That's interesting. You have too.
Yeah, and I keep thinking, oh, will I do something about that? But then I keep running out of time, and I just haven't... Yeah, and I only thought about it this morning when I got into it.
It'll become clear when you go to this retreat and cleanse yourself. You'll have a colonic every day, and it'll come to you.
She said my health is going to be next level because I was thinking I've got a number of operations being lined up for the start of next year, don't I?
That's funny. When she's going, I don't know if I should tell you this now or off air afterwards, what kind of place you should go to. And I'm thinking, she thinks you should go to rehab. She just doesn't want to embarrass you.
Misty Mountains. I was thinking
Mountains rehab.
Misty Mountains.
I love Flavia. She's so good. She's so good. Like,
mate, I promise you, it's never obvious what you think it's going to be.
It'll be like in 5 years' time.
You'll come back to us, there's no doubt, and you'll go, oh my God, you won't believe what happened in October. She was right. But it might be 1 year, it might be 2 years.
And you'll be like, I'm living in Townsville, or like we may have heard that wrong.
And I've got two different women pregnant to two different children.
No, that was such a cool thing to encounter. That was like my yeah. I mean, since meeting you two, I've been introduced to all this psychic stuff, and I'm really, really glad.
But how nice, right? Even if you believe it or not, to know that your life is on track, it's only going to get better. You're only going to be happier, and cool things are coming your way. What a beautiful, comforting feeling.
Yeah. It is such a beautiful feel. As I said, I'm happy now, but to know that you can be more happier when you add those elements to your life. But I am disappointed that there was a horse, but not a lips in that reading. But anyway,
do you know what? It will make sense.
The fact that it started with a horse was hilarious.
I know. I was trying not to laugh.
It could be more perfect.
Well, isn't it great that you guys both got told you're going to be happy and
hang on, she
successful,
said she sees
that
great
my career's
coming.
going to take off.
Yeah,
and you interrupted.
You've got just as much good stuff. What are you talking about?
And I'm going to be offered a retreat.
We should have figured out what this podcast is going to look like in a year.
We should have asked her if it was going to take off.
Hello and welcome to the Misty Mountains podcast, where we discuss the health of your internal organs.
Said, maybe I'm going to run my own retreats.
That's what I was thinking.
Were you?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to run my own rehabs for injured people. George will turn up with his broken penis. All right. On that note,
I'll be there.
I think it's coffee time.
I think it is. Wow.
Yeah, that was good.
This, I promise you, mate. And we always, what we try and do is when she tells us things, you're trying to make, you instantly, you can't help but make an association as to what you think it will be.
Yeah.
It never is that. It's usually... You'll have that moment, something will happen, you go, that's what she was talking about, and it did happen. But often it's very different to what you try and fill the gaps in with. Yeah,
which is where you always get confused, which is why I always recommend if you go and see a clairvoyant to record it just in voice memos.
Yeah, because going back to it's really helpful, and you realise that half of it has already come true. You just didn't realise it. Yeah, and it's amazing.
Well, it's a good thing we happen to be doing a podcast and recording everything we're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Record this?
Okay. Whoops.
Nah, I didn't.
Oh well, we're ringing up again. This episode was brought to you by Only Tans, by the way, guys.
Oh my gosh, how loose are we on Saturday mornings when we do psych recording on Saturday mornings?
I had
as opposed
so many jokes, and I
know. I was telling you, I was hitting him under the
It's
seat.
really hard because you don't want to ruin her process. But there was like a real funny thing where like
I noticed that you
I want to make you laugh.
You weren't throwing in jokes about your own reading. You just like let that one roll out. But it was only when it was George's or mine.
Yeah.
But when you were getting read,
Hashtag
I'm a
hijack.
pest. I don't know. I really am a pest. Well, fuck, we're broadcasting. I'm supposed to be talking.
You're a sex pest.
Wow.
But it's weird. I didn't feel like talking during my reading. I just wanted to lay there and listen to her and just take it all in. So thanks for contributing with your sex jokes.
Thanks, mate. I really add very little to this, don't I? I add so little to this podcast.
I was trying so hard not to laugh that I was pulling the worst facials when she said you're going to have an injury from your abdomen down to your knees.
Yeah.
I was like,
why?
oh,
And she's been
anywhere but.
And she's been accurate with injuries. I
She
said
has.
this about your mum,
Oh
but
my God.
she said your dad would hurt his foot.
and he stepped on a nail that afternoon.
that afternoon. It went
Yeah.
through his foot. Like, so I'm sorry to
I'm going
say,
to get around
she's
wearing
dead
one of those
accurate.
cricket boxes.
No, you know what it'll be? Like, I reckon you'll just work heaps and you'll be sitting down
Be lower
a lot.
back.
And then, it'll be lower back. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what, anyway.
And because, when you're stressed and you're tired, your back is the pillar. So when
You're talking to the microphone, Grant.
No,
I'm
I'm-
checked off.
I think I've left. Fuck it. I'm out.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
At least one of us professional enough to end this show. Thank you, mate. Bye.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Shezzy Denya.
Bye bye. See you next time.